then we
Okay.
will start.
That'll be good.
So just about 2 minutes to wait for people. Then I will make the introduction. Then you will start, sir.
No problem.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I believe this will be a starting point to also move INSEA Nigeria forward and also introduce our participants to INSEA Nigeria as well. So thank you so much, sir. I think we should just start, and others can join us as we progress. So tonight, good evening, everyone. I would like to introduce our presenter tonight. Our presenter tonight is Dr. Ademola Assis. He is the present provost of the Federal College of Education, Technical Akoka in Lagos, and it's a pleasure to have him here tonight to present to us. So Dr. Assis is also an art educator, a veteran art educator, and he is a mentor to a lot of art educators in Nigeria, and it is a great honor to have you tonight, Dr. Assis. So Dr. Assis, you have the floor. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that you'll be able to share your screen. I don't know if you'd like to share your screen, sir. So I'm going to stop sharing mine now.
Well, hello.
Hello, I can hear you, sir.
Hello. Well, except that I will just speak to my paper. I didn't have to prepare any PowerPoint.
Okay,
so I've been very, very busy. So I've been doing but I just I wasn't even sure whether I was able to also meet up. I said, well, let me just speak to yes. So maybe later I can put up something and send to you.
Okay, it's okay, sir. It's okay, sir. The most important thing tonight is that we are having you here tonight with us, and we are like, for me, I'm eager to learn from you, sir, and I believe other people are here to also to learn from you. So the floor is yours now. You can proceed, sir.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. It's my pleasure to be here, to be part of this Art Educator Hangout. Well, my topic for today's discourse is simply titled 21st Century Art Educator, or manager of arts. I'm going to make it very interactive. I hope I'm audible. Hello? 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 Am I on? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. I believe others too can.
Okay, I'm on, I believe.
Yeah, you are on. I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. I just want to speak on the 21st century art educator. Or what are the expectations of the 21st century art educator or art teacher, as the case may be. I'll be speaking from the perspective of being an administrator. Currently, just like the coordinator of this program has introduced me, I'm currently the provost of the Federal College of Education, Technical Akoka, Lagos. I'm also an art educator, art teacher, art historian and artist. But I do more of art, or I do more of school administration now. So I just want to speak from that perspective and relate it to art education. I want to start by appreciating the organizers of this platform. I mean, this will also afford other art teachers to also learn from previous speakers and what I'm going to say today. I want to make it very interactive. It's not a lecture per se, so I want to make it very interactive so that I can listen from other perspectives of art educators that are here. 21st century art educator. His roles are numerous beyond teaching art in the classroom. Numerous in the sense that he or she needs to be doing what other administrators are doing in conjunction with teaching of art in his various art rooms, studios. And in doing that, what are the things that it requires to have to be able to meet up with the 21st century challenges? The first, well, let me also say that as art education has been variously defined by art teachers and art educators, researchers on art education. So we are all familiar with the term art education. Beyond that, what are the situations of the 21st century art educator? I want to begin by saying that gone are the days when art educators or artists or art teachers are restrained to his art rooms or his studios, as the case may be. An art educator is expected to also mingle with other members of the society, the other teachers in his or her school or college or institution, as the case may be, to be able to also project himself and also project his subject area, which is art education or visual art or fine arts or whatever it is called in his or her discipline. He needs to be doing what will make the subject to be appreciated the more, so that he's not looked down upon as just mere artist who does not know his right from his left. And the challenges are there, and I will elaborate on that as time goes on. And what are his expectations? An art educator is expected to be a good communicator. And I know many artists are doing that, but we need to consciously project that in our various art schools and studios and other organizations in which we are performing or we are members. And a lot of artists have also played that role very well, because being an artist does not restrain you to just your art studios alone or art room, you need to also communicate. And to be a good art educator or art teacher, communication is very germane. So we want to encourage art educators to be communicating effectively with his students, with his colleagues, fellow artists or fellow art educators, with other teachers in his domain or in his institution or outside the institution. And by doing that, he or she should be fluent in the use of language, whatever language that is used for communication. It can be English language, it can be local language, it can also be other borrowed language, which we expect that an art teacher or art educator should be fluent at and should be able to communicate very well for people to understand and also appreciate him. And in doing that, that communication can also be shown verbally, can also be shown in writing, and it can also be shown visually, because as an artist, he's expected to also express himself visually first, and it should also combine it with verbal communication and writing. I think that has to be emphasized here, so that the other members of staff or teachers in the school will appreciate the stuff in which it's made of. And then in doing that, beyond communication, he or she should also be able to also collaborate with other colleagues of his, being artists, be it artists or other teachers in the same institution. The college could be school, it could be primary school, it could be secondary school. Collaborate with them whenever there are assignments to be done or to be executed. And in doing that, it should be able to also exhibit that, yes, it has something to offer, and that in doing that, it's also encouraging his art students, to also collaborate when giving any assignment. So collaboration is also very, very important, so that as he's collaborating, he's also promoting his subject area, which is art education, or visual arts, or fine arts, or design, or whatever that subject is called in his institution. So collaboration is very important, so that by collaborating with other teachers or other colleagues, then it's also encouraging his students, pupils, students, to also be involved in group projects that can also assist the pupils or the students to be able to come up with a very good project that can be instituted in the institution. I also want to talk about an art educator being very, very innovative. It needs to also promote innovation and creativity. Creativity is a very serious term in visual arts, in art education, and that we need to promote that innovation and creativity go together, and that beyond teaching art in our studios, in our art rooms, we should be able to also encourage innovation and creativity. And in doing that, that will also encourage our students to be able to think creatively with every single project that the art teacher has given them. So creativity, we know we are talented in that area, and that should be able to, that should reflect in other subjects in that school in which we are teaching, so that for every subject that our students engage in, that aspect of innovation and creativity should be noticed. It can be in a science subject, it can be in a commercial subject, it can be in a technology subject, and commercial subject and art subjects, other art subjects. So we need to encourage that, and that an art educator should be able to train himself to be involved in innovative projects, so as to be able to also be masters in that, master in that area. That's innovation and creativity. And as an art educator, being creative will also inspire our students with creative ideas, so as to make them keep innovating and creating. So they said it's leadership by example. So the 21st century art educator should be able to do that with ease, and he needs to be train himself, and also train his students to be able to also create ideas that will make them keep innovating and creating. And in doing that, it also inspires the students to also look at other artists that are also done well, so that at least they can study their hearts and creativity or creations, and also be more creative in that area. As art educator, we should be able to also promoting innovation and creativity. The students that we are teaching should be given assignments that can also allow them to use a variety of materials, so that they are not limited to a particular material, because art has gone beyond asking students or pupils to use only poster color. There are other media or mediums that our students can use to be able to create inspiring and creative works. Then one other area that the 21st century art educator should also engage in is critical thinking. Critical thinking, I know beyond painting and designing our various in our various art rooms and studios, many art educators, many artists also engage in critical writing. And critical writing, we also encourage, or stimulate critical thinking, so that at least our students will also benefit from that. So that artists, as an artist or art educator, we are also engaged in other discourses around us, be it politics, be it governance, be it economics, be it other related subject areas that are also germane, because as artists, we are part of the society, and we should be able to contribute our quota by being part of that critical thinkers that can solve problems for the society, for the immediate society at large. So, and society at large. We know generally we believe that it is believed that scientists and engineers are engaged in critical thinking. Yes, that's been established. Artists or art educators should also be engaged in critical thinking, because as artists, we can translate whatever scientists and engineers have designed into a visual element that members of society will also appreciate, enjoy, and also use, either for aesthetic purpose or for utilitarian purpose. So we need to also encourage our art educators to be engaged in critical thinking. Just like I said, what scientists and engineers engage in, art educators should also be encouraged to engage in such. And in doing that, we also be part of a problem solver and solving problem, because solving problem is also part of art education. Beyond aesthetics, we artists also over the history have been engaged in problem solving. So we should also use that talent that God has given us to also promote critical thinking, whatever we do. And in translating down to art education, or what we teach in the classroom, we should also encourage, we should encourage our students or pupils to be engaged in class brainstorming on any topic. Can give them any topic to brainstorm on it before such topic is also executed individually or as group work, as we give to the student. Then we also want to talk about literacy in information and communication technology, or what I call in literacy in information and computer technology. ICT is the main thing now. So gone are the days when artists produce his works manually. With technology now, it is easier for the artist art educator to mass produce his works. And because mass producing it will make his work to be able to also reach so many people, and it will make his work to also be affordable. Yes, creativity, original creativity is needed, but there are some artworks that technology will also assist the artist or art educator to execute with less stress. So, and in doing that, we should be able to also embrace the computer technology, what we call ICT, so that at least we understand it, we study it, and that will also allow us to be able to also discuss with other professionals in the area of information and communication technology. Then that will also allow us to being literate in that area will also afford us to also be able to also navigate online, discourses or training and use of technology for greater good of students and ourselves. Technology and information literacy have become more and more integrated into art education, and that we should be able to also encourage it. We should be able to encourage it so that we are not left behind, because so many things are happening now in the creative world that with our literacy in information and communication technology or information and computer technology, we'll be able to do with ease and faster, because literacy, technology and information literacy have become more and more integrated into art education. And that if you see, as we all know, there are so many things that are happening now in the creative world that technology has really assisted, and that it should be part of our curriculum, and that serious or conscious effort should be made to make sure that every artist or every art teacher or art educator is literate, in the use of information and communication technology, with the use of computer. And it can be our laptop, it can be our notepad, it can be our notebook, it can be our phone, it can be anything. But we should be able to also train people, train ourselves. And in training ourselves, if you are not properly trained as an art educator, how do we train our pupils? How do we train our students? So we need to. So and that should be inculcated into the curriculum to make sure that we are taught in all areas of information technology, so that at least art education will be better for it. So that's by doing that, we should be able to also navigate online use of technology, like I said earlier, for the greater good of our students. And literacy, like I said, information literacy has been become more and more integrated into art education through internet research, software programs, and social media, which there are a lot of social media. That the one we are using our Teams, Team. We have so many other ones that we are using that we should be able to also we should be trained in those areas so that our communication, discharge of our job, of our work, will be very easier, and in disseminating this to members of the public with ease. So that knowledge is very important for art educator, so that we can connect with arts content easily and fastly, like never before. We should be able to do that so that arts will be better for it. And that we should also encourage artists should also be encouraged to engage in research. Research is very, very important. As art educators, beyond creating artworks or works of art in our various art rooms and studios, then we should also be encouraged to engage in research. It can be individual research, it can be group research. That at the end of the day, such research outcomes will be published for members of the public and for our students to also collaborate, to also benefit from such research outcomes. So such might cost money, but as art educators, we should be able to also search or look for, as an organization, we should be able to also make such grants available. For example, as an administrator, I know that in our institutions, there are grants that are available, especially from a TET fund, the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, that is not only scientists or engineers that are also benefit from such. Art educators also benefit from that, but the culture of research must be encouraged so that more artists or art educators can also benefit from that research funds that are available. We have such research grants at local, and we also have at international level. So we will encourage that so that at least the art education will be better for it. The other area I want to speak about, which over the years, we have not shown too much interest, is actually in the area of administration of arts, or administration of institutions or organizations. Artists engrossed with their studio works. There's no doubt about that. Because without creativity, there won't be arts. Yes. But as we are creating, we should be able to also provide opportunities for our creative works to be appreciated by the government, by our colleagues and members of the society. Because beyond creativity now, beyond creation, we need to allow people to understand what art means, what art education means. So we need to create more administrators for the purpose of projecting our profession, which is art education. And that, how do we do that? What we need to do is to consciously show interest in art administration. Gone are the days when artists will just produce his work and we stay in his art room or art studio and want buyers to come. Yeah, buyers may come, but there are certain things you also need to do to be able to also allow our works to be appreciated or to be purchased, either by connoisseurs or art collectors or art patrons. The importance of showing interest in art administration is very, very, it cannot be underestimated in the sense that artists or art educators also have their own organizations. They have their own organizations. They have their own, what I would call their organizations, yes. They also have their own specific units that are catering for visual arts or art education. So, and our experience has shown that other professionals who have shown interest in the administration have hijacked these roles from us. And we are just onlooking and, theorizing while other professionals are taking what belongs to us. Because we need to protect what is our own. We need to protect what is our own. And that the only way we can do that is to produce more administrators among ourselves, either in primary schools, in secondary schools, in tertiary institutions. And we have examples in the past where administrators have used their positions to also promote visual arts or art education. And the best example I will cite in Nigeria is one of our great administrators of blessed memory, that's Professor Solomon Irewangboje, who showed interest in art administration, and that he was also appointed as the deputy VC in the University of Benin, and he was able to also use that position conveniently to project visual arts, to project arts, art education in that university. And what does he do? What did he do? He used the position to attract more candidates to that university to study at either first degree level or master's level or PhD levels. And that the university was better for it. So at the end of the day, more administrators were also created, and that more scholars were also created. But if he didn't show interest in that administration, the visual arts will have lost a lot. And that we have other better examples that I can mention here, and that for the purpose of this discourse, I'm aware that Professor Ron Kalilu was at the time the deputy VC in Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, and that also paved way for visual art there. That there's nobody that will go to that university that will not know that there is a department called Department of Fine and Applied Arts in Ladoke Akintola University. And he used his position to also do something that is unique, that I'm not sure any other university has copied that. What did he do? He made sure that visual arts is also made compulsory. I think a course in that department is made compulsory for all categories of students in that university. Either they will do drawing and one other course. It was made compulsory, and he was able to do that conveniently because he showed interest in art administration, and that being the deputy VC, that also paved way for the subject, for the discipline to be recognized in that university. I'm sure that culture is still there. So if you are not there, you may not be able to also ask how is it shared, as the popular saying goes. So I will encourage us that we should not lag behind in administration wherever we have, and that We also have example of of administrator like Dr. Kunle Filani, who was a two-term provost at Federal College of Education, Oshiele, Abeokuta, for 8 years. He was here and at as a regular caller to that institution. And I know that visual arts or fine and applied department was better off in terms of facilities, in terms of structure, infrastructure, in terms of even the personnel, and that that has also bestowed some prestige on that subject because being an artist and being an head of the institution, and that people will now respect that profession the more. So we want to encourage our people, our art educators, wherever they are, be it in secondary school or primary school, they shouldn't shy away from being, because these are the things that the 21st century art educators require. Because you must be able to also show people that, yes, you're also capable of administering people, administering your staff, your colleagues, administering the students, and also relate with other members of the society. That is also important. We had even now retired, our former president of SNE, that's Mr. Kolade Oshinowo, who was one time or 2 times deputy rector in Yabatek. And that as he was doing that, he was combining that with even his art studio work. And art has also benefited a lot from that. So he's one of our best examples that throughout his stay there, he was also exhibiting and inviting members of his management to come and see the creative work he was producing. And that School of Art and Design also benefited maximally from that experience. So in our own little way here too, we, as a provost of the college, we have been also collaborating with other organizations to make sure that at least art is also recognized in our college here. That's the Federal College of Education Technical Koka, Lagos. Yeah. Recently, the Society of Nigerian Artists Lagos State chapter collaborated with the college to do a mural painting on our college wall. And that you cannot come to our college now. I mean, if you are passing through our gate, you notice that, the mural is very enticing and very attractive. And so it's because we have an artist here who's also at the helm of affairs. So the same thing we also want to do wherever we have, and that in doing that, we need to also make ourselves to be. We need to engage in the competitive ideas, so that at least whenever such opportunities comes our way, we have competent hands who will be qualified to also apply for such positions wherever they are, be it in university. I'm aware that one of the staff or one of the colleagues, I've also mentioned, also participated in the current interview for the position of vice chancellors in the University of Ibadan, and that's in person of Professor Ram Kalilu. So we should be able to produce more of administrators in the universities, in the polytechnics and college education and other tier of institutions in Nigeria. So that these are some of the things that I want to encourage our 21st century art educators to get prepared for, so that our subject, the subject area and art education or visual arts, fine and applied art, will be better appreciated by members of the public. And that in doing that, we should be able to also encourage our colleagues who are also working in other art-related outfits or parastatals. We have parastatals like NCAC, that's a Council for Art and what do you call it? And Art and Culture. We have NGA, National Gallery of Art. We have not had good examples there. I mean, because our experience there has been, it has not benefited visual artists or art education, our art educators. we can work as a team to make sure that at least we are able to also work towards that, so that what belongs to artists is not given to other professionals. So I think those are some of the areas I need to also talk on. Like I said, there's no prepared lecture for this, and I feel that I should make it more interactive. And I know there are areas I've not covered. I'm sure that other contributors will also contribute and also. So in order not to also take most of our time, because I know the time is fast spent, this is 45 minutes after 8, so that at least we can use the remaining time for interaction and discussion. Thank you very much. I appreciate the organizer of this event. God bless. I think I'm done for now.
Thank you so much, sir. God bless you. That was a wonderful one, sir. I want to say that was a wonderful one, and thank you so much, sir. God bless you. And it's time for questions, comments, and contributions to that presentation. So thank you so much, sir. God bless you. I saw a name in the house. I guess that might be Dr. Kunle Filani. I'm not sure of if that is Dr. Kunle Filani. I just want to recognize him. I just want to recognize Dr. Kunle Filani. I saw Muyiwa Filani. I don't know if it's the same. So I just want to recognize that name.
His own is Ola Kunle Filani. His own is Ola Kunle Filani. It's not Muyiwa Filani.
Okay. I saw one Muyiwa Filani. Okay. I just want to recognize him. Okay. It is time for question. Okay, I can see one answer is already. That is Olufemi Ogunsheye. Mr. Olufemi Ogunsheye. You can go ahead now, sir.
Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so happy to be on this platform this evening again. And thank you very much, Dr. Aziz, for that wonderful presentation. You have been able to nail a lot of things as regards 21st century art educator. My concern here will basically be on Nigeria, because from my perception, a lot is going down when you talk of art in Nigeria. I observed that I think 2 weeks ago, the body that employs a teacher for primary school, UBE, placed an advert for recruitment of teachers. And unfortunately, art was exempted from the list. And this has been happening for quite a while now. And I don't think there has been any force or movement from art educators or administrators to confront the people at the ends of affair to fix this problem. And at the end, they will now instruct whoever has knowledge or who presumably could draw to now teach art in our primary and secondary schools. So this problem has been lingering, and the government is not taking us serious about it. Lately, Nigeria will be celebrating the 68th years of independence. The logo for the celebration, I think, was given to somebody who I don't think is a professional. And the person did, to me, a wishy-washy work, to the extent that the diamond at the center of the zero was copied from, I think, a Russian company. And as such, I don't think the person is aware of the gravity of that offense, except if permission has been gotten from that Russian company. So all these lapses has increased to the extent that arts and art educators are not recognized per se. So my opinion or my suggestion is that those that are well-grounded in our universities, colleges of education, and institutions of learning should please rally round. I'm using this platform to appeal to those who I believe have the voice to communicate and meet with those in government to give art the necessary recognition. At a point when I was working with JAMP in test item moderation, history was expunged completely from JAMP, but I think they are now trying to restore it. Please, we should not allow this to happen to our subjects. So, and then as a 21st century art educator, a lot is still needed to be done in our classrooms, in our curriculum, and in our administration. Thank you very much. I believe I've been able to state my point clearly. Thank you, sirs.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your intervention. I think that was very, very apt. Yes, I agree with you totally because I think, like I said, we need to be more organized as professionals. We need to be more organized as professionals. The example you have just mentioned, that the recruitment of teachers, and I've always been arguing that we need to also create more jobs for our colleagues, for arts educators, be it in a public and private schools. Fortunately enough, visual arts is one of the compulsory subjects. Either at the primary school, they call it creative, cultural and creative art at the primary school, at the GSS 1 to 3. They also have visual arts at the secondary school, and that for every school, there must be visual art teachers. So that means for anybody to establish any school now, there must be provision for art studios. But unfortunately, because we are not organized, we cannot enforce that. And that there are two organizations that I feel can do that in Nigeria as I'm talking to you. And one of the organizations is the Society of Nigerian Artists, which has been trying its best, but can still do more to make sure that our research unit or research department of our, or what we call, we can call it quality assurance or whatever, to make sure that then the second organization is INSEA, which I'm currently the coordinator in Nigeria, but fortunately because of my new post now. But we need to also do more to make sure that at least such information is not just left for art teachers or applicants, to be running on their, running around on their own. Organizations should be, any serious professional organizations should be able to take that. In fact, by the time you take up government on that, I'm sure that visual art will be included in that recruitment exercise, because they must recruit final teachers, because it's a subject that is a JAMB has recognized. So I don't see why visual arts teachers should not be recruited while other subject areas are also covered. I think we need to also work more on that so that we can put the government on their toes. Yes, you said government is not taking us serious. Yes, so because we need to take ourselves more seriously first, because there are a lot of things that we can do, especially in Lagos State, that will benefit, because Lagos is the center of art, whether we like it or not. Cosmopolitan city, a lot of things are also required from us. But we need to also organize ourselves properly so that the government will also recognize it. I mean, do we even have a Lagos State, what do you call it, gallery, that will cater for everybody, and Lagos is capable of doing that. So there are so many things we need to also approach the Lagos State government to do for us. Once Lagos State kickstarts that, I'm sure that can also be replicated in other states of the federation. Thank you very much. Then on the issue of the logo, I'm sure that SNE, because I also read some reactions on SNE platform. I expect the SNE leadership to take that up with the Minister of Information and Culture, so that at least that can be high on that, so that the country is not embarrassed at global level. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I can see another hand raised. That's Dr. Yusuf Abdul Rasak. You can speak now, sir.
Good evening, everyone on this platform this evening. I'm happy that Dr. Aziz has once more raised some of those silent issues that are disturbing us as art educators in Nigeria. When Dr. Tijani came the other time, she also highlighted this and follow up to what Dr. Ademuleya said last week, that we artists, I think there's a disconnect with the struggle we are doing underneath with people who represent us in government when they make a lot of decisions. And those decisions are actually affecting us. And that's why this evening I want to support Dr. Aziz on the line that we are teachers in Nigeria. We should strive as much as possible to join the clique of those who make decisions, because most times when those decisions are made, they make the wrong decisions for art. For example, in the teaching of art in higher institutions, the issue of publish or perish has come to stay. But you could believe that for those who teach practical courses, it's a hell of a problem for them, because no amount of work you do as a sculptor or as a painter or as a ceramist, no amount of how big your pot, how beautiful, how creative it is, if you don't publish, you are bound to perish in your course of growth in your studies. I wish that we have a voice where this thing can be streamlined, writing and doing the actual work which you are actually employed to teach the visual art. And that's one of the reasons why we have this problem of this logo imbroglio that we are finding ourselves now. And I want to ask, since we heard of an art advisor since the time of Ben Unwowu of blessed memory, I never thought that we have that key connection again between those who make decisions for art and the artists themselves. Because a lot of things have happened, and we just open our eyes and begin to shout. And I believe that maybe this platform, we could now begin to have a kind of avenue where we get up to the government. Like, for example, another one, I just come up on board this platform this evening, that teachers were supposed to be employed. No virtual artists were among those who were supposed to be employed. And I think that INSEA or SNA could take that up officially and forward a letter. Maybe that is gone, but next time I'm not sure they are going to do it. The controversy also persists. At the other time when they were doing a lot of artworks to decorate Lagos State, and the controversy came when even some of the works came, they were just wishy-washy works. And it was even discovered that some of the commissions were given to non-artists. And these are some of the problems that we keep having in Nigeria, because we don't have people at the top there when they are making decisions for us. And I mentioned, I listened to my professor one time, that you want to believe that in this Nigeria, we were just saved by only a fraction of a minute. That fine art, which is a handiwork, a skill kind of work that we do, was to be removed from the ITF that students do in Nigeria here. And because some people will just sit and take a decision on behalf of us. I just support Dr. Aziz this evening that as much as possible, that we are happy now that we are having some of them at the helm of affairs in the higher institutions. But let us try to go more to join those who are making that decisions at the governance level. Thank you. This is my contribution.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Is there any other person? If you can't use the hand icon, please, you can just unmute yourself and speak.
Good evening, everybody in the house.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, God bless you. Firstly, I want to thank you for this great job ongoing. And likewise, I want to appreciate my provost, because Akoka is my alma mater. Likewise, I equally want to recognize Professor Shegolude for being on the platform tonight. Thank you so much. Well, I so much enjoy every discussion tonight, starting from our key presenter, my provost, Dr. Ademola Assis.
Thank you very much.
You have really mastered the points by setting our eyes to some things that we don't take as being serious at the initial stage. Because some of us, we are so encumbered with our work. So less we pay attention to administrative aspect of arts. And without that, there is no way we can get to anywhere, because there is this idea that says you are not there. You are asking how the sharing is being done. So, and whoever that is not at home is the one that is a goat we give back to e-goats. And when your goat is giving birth to e-goat, there is no way you can multiply, because it is the only the female goat that can produce more children. Well, be may it as it may, I seriously want to draw the attention of our doctor tonight to some issues. We have been talking that there are a lot of lacuna or some issues that are not really Nigeria. Which I believe that is not so somewhere else, or maybe we are equally facing the same problem. When for arts, I mean art education, it's like this complacency of a thing is always a major problem. People are not really feel concerned about it at all. And if we call this thing our profession and we don't have any other place to go, then we need to be serious about whatever we are doing at all. So I want to believe in any state where there is need for a kind of moving together, nothing stops people from Lagos, from Ogun, gathering ourselves together like that and go with full force to wherever we want to make our opinion known. When they see us coming in convoy or in companies of timber and calibers of people that matters in the field of arts, they will have no choice other than to listen to us and to hear whatever we want to say. Mr. Oguseye raised germane issue tonight, which we have been talking and ruminating about it. I learned that Lagos State has taken steps by writing the Ministry of Education concerning that issue. But in Ogun State, we are equally putting our heads together now to go and meet them at the Ministry of Education to address the matter, because there is no way, if our members are not being employed, then why are we in that profession? And I equally discovered that in many of our secondary schools and primary schools, visual artists or CCA teachers are not being employed at all. And if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? But in our own case, I believe this time around, since we know where the problem is coming from, we need to face it head along to make sure that we battle it and then solve the problem once and for all. We need to use all the weapons within our capacity to make sure that the government listens to us. Because if we are not taking any step, I'm afraid that it's a matter of time. Art may even be expunged out of education curriculum as time goes on. but which I pray it will not be so. Thank you so much. I want to rest my case for now. I still have other things to do.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Oladimeji. Professor Shegunlude's hand is raised. Sorry, somebody. Okay.
Thank you.
I guess the noise is coming from Solomon. Okay. Professor Shegunlude, you can have the floor now, sir.
Thank you. First, I want to appreciate main speaker for tonight. That I did learn a lot, because being far away, there are so many things that I don't know, and I've learned a lot. And in the presentation, a question came up in my mind that I think I probably have an offer of a possible solution, but let me ask first, because I don't know what's going on in Nigeria that much. Do we have a book or a website that lists Nigerian art educators or visual artists or applied artists? Do we have anything? We don't.
No.
Okay, so
No.
that is an opportunity there, because if we don't promote ourselves, nobody would know us to even want to help us promote. So I think there's an opportunity to even start from each person who is on this hangout tonight to submit just a brief bio, one paragraph with a photo saying, this is my name, this is what I do, this is my vision. And if we have that we post, say, every other day on WhatsApp and other social media platforms like Instagram, we start to create a volume that we can point to people and say, this person is an artist, this person is a sculptor, this person is a painter, this person is a designer, this person, so that we have, with engineering and other subjects, we have material like that. So anytime I come to Nigeria, you'll see me using examples from the Western world, because that's what I know. But it's about time we here start learning from Nigeria and other parts of Africa who the main artists are, who the main art historians are. It doesn't have to be an elaborate work, and it can always be built upon, because this is the season where we have all these tools available to us. So we can point to the people who are actually doing the work, and it will serve as a tool to encourage younger people to take up art or applied arts in different ways. So that was one thing that was going on at the back of my mind as a general comment. And to pick up on what Oladimeji just said, I think in the minds of people who are in administration or government, when you go to them as one person, they see you as one person. But when you go as a group of people, they pay more attention. Even in Canada here, in Manitoba, we have a design society, but we are not a standalone organization. We're part of a national body. So anytime there's a representation, even if it's local, the local people represent that issue, but the national body also has people who support it. So what I'm saying is, Lagos state government is not going to be looking at one issue and saying, it's a Lagos problem. But when they know the people in Ogun State are also signatories to the letter, and they know the people in Ebonyi are signatories to the letter, they pay more attention to it. So I think collaborating on representation and advocacy might be an issue that SNA must address as an important part of their function. Because you may have 6 members in one state and you have 40 in another state. I think collaborations like that make issues more important. It shows them that we are paying attention. And I really believe that, yes, there has to be some kind of joint activity when it comes to representing to government. So those are the two main things that came to mind as I was listening. And the issue of the 60th anniversary logo, I wouldn't even touch that because anyway, let me just rest. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Another hand is raised. Shukudi Joseph. Shukudi Joseph.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to appreciate the organizers of this program, and I want to say we guys are doing a very good job. Yeah, I also want to appreciate Dr. Ademola Aziz for a well thought out presentation this evening. I've actually been inspired by certain revelation that he had revealed to us this evening. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, my point this evening is on on the neglect of the visual arts, in our school education, especially in the public school setting. Mr. Busha raised the other time that visual art or cultural and creative art is actually missing, on the list, and that has actually been a concern. And Dr. Ademola Aziz also raised that these things happens because he feels that the visual art organizations are actually not organized, as he would have wanted. Okay, for me, I feel the neglect is not the fact that the visual arts community is not that organized, but the fact that we have people who are not qualified, so to speak, that are representing us at the educational affair. I was opportune to visit my secondary school last 2 years. I actually went there to donate some, art textbook to the school, and I was disappointed at what I saw. The art studio that was recently built has been converted to something else, and the art teacher there is now a counselor. That actually breaks my mind, because in that school, art is totally dead, you know, and I begin to wonder where is the place of art, in our society. And I wasn't too surprised when, if a publication is made regarding vacancies and stuff like that, art will definitely be missing. So I really want us to do more. I think we are organized in a way because there are several art bodies like the SNA and some other ones. But the fact still remains that the people that are actually representing us at the top are not doing what they should be doing, and we should organize ourselves like Mr. Oladimiji said. We should go in group, and the last speaker also said, I made mention of that too. Working in group and making our voice heard at the top is one way we can go. All right. The second thing I want to talk about today is also the fact that in our secondary school, especially the private institution, is even much more better there because resources can be made available by the school owner. But in our public settings, is actually a difficult thing because resources is actually a very big problem. You don't expect the art teacher to provide materials, to work with the students, and also the students may not be able to provide for themselves. So who provides the materials that are used in, to impart knowledge in a secondary school is actually a very big problem, and then is actually telling negatively on teaching in our public secondary school. So these are the two areas I want to really point out, and I feel that we could come together as an association, and then see how we can run around our public school art teachers, because they are actually not delivering, and it's not actually their fault. It is because facilities are actually not on ground, and government are not actually helping matters too. and they are not pushing in terms of personal development to to deliver what is expected of them. And then how can we come in now as professionals? For me, as I actually teach in a private school, and where I have these resources, I could navigate, I could use these materials, to deliver, lessons and to help my student. But what about those people in the public settings that lacks these materials? And then, of course, you can do little without art materials, especially if you have to impart knowledge to them. So these are the two areas that are of most concern to me as an art educator in this 21st century. Thank you so very much, sir.
Oh, thank you so much, sir, Mr. Joseph. That was a wonderful one. And before Dr. Ademola Assis responds to most of these comments that has been made, I would like to just say something. Also, it's a form of question and also a comment to buttress what we have been saying. That was a wonderful comment that Mr. Joseph made, and I just have that thought now that maybe the art educators in most of these public schools need help in the sense that if we have been doing so well in our own different ways, like I'm doing in my own way, and some other people are doing just like Mr. Oladimeji is doing in Ijebu, and some other people. Why can't I think it is high time that we all come together to actually start reaching out, just like an outreach for art educators, going there to also assist them, probably a day or two, going to different rural community to support and to also give resources. And we can also also rely on support from abroad, even within internal support too, like Professor Shegun Lude from Canada. Probably there is a way we can get resources to support these art educators in their own local community, and some other, like just like we can use the position of Dr. Ademola Assis too, to also get personnel, as students, that we can just go to a particular community and do like a morale or do something with the art student in that community, and to just, even if it's just a day or two, it can also inspire and change the course of things in that local community. That is one. Another thing, my school, I was teaching for some years that I've been teaching IGCSE, that is British curriculum. And one thing I noticed recently, that was in 2016, my school moved to a new site, and two schools were brought together, and we are teaching IGCSE, and there's another one, Nigerian curriculum, and we know what Nigerian curriculum is. And at a point, I got to teach Nigerian curriculum as well. But one thing I noticed is just like before then, our lesson notes has always been electronic lesson note, that is, you type, then you print out. But later we are meant to, like, because of the Ministry of Education coming in to check on us, accreditation, and all that. Now it was made compulsory that we should be writing lesson note. You can imagine writing lesson note. That writing of lesson note by hand every week. The stress that come with writing, and even when you want to do a sample, you see you have to paint in the note and all that, instead of just getting a picture from the internet and insert into your lesson note. And we realize that lesson note also consumes time. Until recently, the school is resuming tomorrow in Nigeria. And I saw that they are asking us to do a soft copy of the note just because of the new normal, which is the COVID-19. I guess the COVID-19 has its own blessing too, because now we are not going back to the e-note writing. No, now we are not going to be using hand to write now. So sending to our supervisor, we have to send by email, and or probably by WhatsApp and all that. But what they want now is the soft copy, not the hard copy that we used to use hand to write. This is my point, and it is directed to Dr. Ademola Assis. Being at the end of affair, at at an institution that produces teachers in respect of their field, not just art education now, or even other aspects of art. So what can be done to actually change the course of things? Because the Minister of Education, the way they do their things is just like the world has moved to a particular level, and we are still dwelling in the way, okay, this is the way it has been done, and that is the way we have to be doing it. We are not even looking at at improving things. The same way they have been doing the lesson note, writing lesson note, it's just a little improvement that they made on student-centered learning. Apart from that, nothing has really been changed until recently that we are being asked. In fact, it is even made mandatory that most of those things they will be doing now has to be e-learning, blended learning. Blended learning is like little of the face-to-face and more of the other thing has to be done online. So what I'm trying to say is like, what is the role of an institution of education going to be to ensure that we move from this archaic way of doing things to the 21st century? Now we are talking about 21st century teacher, to the 21st century of doing things. So that is my submission tonight. Sir, over to you, sir, Dr. Ademola Assis.
Thank you, Mr. Shegun. Let me also appreciate Professor Shegun Olude for that concise contributions. I appreciate you. And that let me respond to issue of the website. I'm very encouraged by that suggestion, because I'm not sure such website is existing because of maybe because of lack of resources, or because we are not organized to that level. Even though at the level of the SNA, I know some efforts have been made in the past to make sure that at least all artists are also included in the website. But I don't know how far we have gone in that area. But as an administrator, I may also want to relate with Professor Shegun Olude in that area, so that we should be able to, because such websites can be hosted anywhere, So, and that what we need to also, just like he suggested, is just to supply information. And I will want to discuss further with him, so that if I can get his email, so that we can start something like that. I'm interested, and I'm sure that we can raise funds to also to fund that, so that at least the financial burden will not be on anybody. But we need such, so that people, art educators from all over the world, or other professionals, can assess and see what we are capable of doing here in Nigeria. I think I want to encourage you that it will assist us in that area. Then the issue that you have raised, that Shegun has raised, concerning the curriculum, whether we like it or not, the COVID-19 pandemic has imposed new new thinking on us, whether we like it or not, and we just have to abide by that new thinking. So what we need to do now is just to also, because it also forces us to also, because we need to also work on our facilities. The portal, the websites, and other internet facilities that will make all these things work, because these facilities must be made available in various institutions, either at the secondary schools, at the primary school, also at the higher institution. We should make these facilities available. So, and that the federal government, the Federal Ministry of Education, has even given us the guidelines, what we call the guidelines, as some of the guidelines we need to also follow. The online thing has come to stay. The only thing is that we should be able to also give the student the opportunity to, because as at now, the students are using their own airtime, so to say, to hook on to the online various online teachings that are going on. be it Zoom, be it Teams, be it WhatsApp, and so on and so forth. But we are looking up to a situation when the students, when they are around, will not use their personal resources to buy airtime, to buy, for such distance, for such teaching. So we need to also increase that, provide more facilities that will make the online teaching easier. There should be connection between the ministry and the various institutions, so that if you need to send information, you don't need to travel to Abuja or to travel to any other place to do that. You can just go to your the portal, and send it, or whatever platform that we are using to send information. And I'm sure that we can. Then I also feel that as a professional organization, INSEA and SNA, I think we need to also we need to train ourselves. So we need to also invite experts. And I'm sure that the likes of Professor Segun Olude, and he also is based in Canada. There are other colleagues of ours that we can also invite to Nigeria to come and train us. Because training is part of what we need. Because this is we are in the technology age now, digital age. So, and when many of us were in the universities, we were not taught through digital media, understand? But now, digital media are here, so we need to, so that as artists, as art educators, wherever we are, when we can use those facilities, those media, those devices, they know when to apply it, and that at the right time. I'm sure that will be better for us. So that as we are expecting government to support us, to also provide certain facilities, we should also be ready in terms of being technically competent to be able to use these devices. I think that's very, very important. So I'm emphasizing that we should, INSEA and SNA should take the issue of training very seriously. So maybe we need to start with the art teachers in the primary school, in the secondary school, wherever the experts are. We have to look for them, and that will require funding. We should be able to do that, so that is at individual level we are trained, so that we don't assume that yes, even if those facilities are there, we need to also use those facilities. I think that's the angle, an area I want to. That's the angle I want to also look at it, so that
sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. You are here to talk about the lesson note, how to move or migrate permanently from using hand to write lesson note to e-note.
Yeah, the issue of lesson notes, in fact, is the easiest of all. Segun, the easiest of all, because it's easier for you to use your notebook, your notepad, to type your lesson note and send it to whatever. In fact, you can.
That is what I'm saying.
So definitely the ministry will meet up with that. I don't think there's any problem with that. Understand? And I'm sure that by the time they come, because for example, we are being supervised. College of Education are being supervised by the National Commission for College of Education. I'm sure that NCC will not insist that our teachers in my school should be writing lesson notes, or teacher in my secondary school will be writing lesson notes. I mean, manually. Understand? So we have encouraged electronic communication long time ago here. So that shouldn't be a problem at all. And I'm not sure. I don't think there's any ministry, any supervisor from the ministry that will insist that people should be writing lesson notes manually. I'm sure that we can. We have gone.
What I'm saying is that is their norm. I don't know how that could be corrected. Probably, I don't know how that could be corrected, because that is the norm, and they believe strongly in that. That should be.
I'm saying that cannot work again. It cannot work again because of the current situation. It can't work again. It cannot. And that if anybody insists on that, please let us know. we can take up that. Even at the Ministry of Education in Lagos State, we can take them up. Understand? We won't encourage that. Even our children, will not even, because they communicate with us virtually, not to talk of now asking teachers to be writing lessons and this, So what we need to do is that as an administrator, we should be able to prove these, what do you call it now, devices, electronic devices, as small as tablets for our teachers. Understand? There are cheaper ones that are even manufactured in Nigeria. So there's no big deal about that at all. So we need to also change the thinking of our supervisors, of our administrators. Understand? It's a matter of a mindset. We need to change their mindset and tell them, come, this thing cannot work. And we insist. I think we can do that effectively.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. I don't know if you still have more comments to make and contributions to make. Okay, Mr. Go ahead, sir, Mr. Joseph.
Mr. Ademola Aziz, sorry, sir. Please, you didn't touch on the issue I raised. Dr. Ademola Aziz, you didn't touch on the issue I raised. Okay, because our public schools, that the arts classrooms are actually being, what's the word now? They've been used for other purposes now, and then arts normally are not being taught in these schools. So many of our public schools.
That problem has been there, and I can assure you that it's because the art professionals, we don't have a regulatory body. Understand? We don't have a regulatory body. If you have a regulatory body that moves around, that goes around all schools, and if such regulatory bodies discovers that, I know that, for example, that was a NIA, Nigerian Institute of Architecture. Sometimes went to Ife to go and look at the facilities they have there and discovered that the certain facilities is a regular. Accreditation. It even makes we are part of that regulatory body. We have a functional regulatory body that can move around wherever such information that now exists. Then that regulatory body will give an information that such institutions that for any secondary school or primary school, there must be art studio. There must be in the curriculum. Nobody. So for any private school that cannot establish art studio, then such private institution, private secondary school or primary school, should not be given any license. Understand? And as professionals too, we also need to move around to expose such schools, because the government may not see all these things, but as a regulatory body, as professionals, such information should be made available to our professional associations. And I'm sure that INSEA should take up that gauntlet, and that SNA should also be in position to also make sure that this, such facilities are made available in our various schools.
Thank you so much. Sorry, I have some things to chip in. Am I given the chance?
Yes, hello? Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, go ahead, sir. So much. Yeah. While I was working on my master's research, I tried to move around the schools, and I discovered that in many primary schools, we have no visual, CCA teachers. In secondary school, we have no, majority of the schools, except the private ones, we have no visual arts teachers there. And when I inquire from some of those mushrooms and the upcoming schools, that is the primary schools, I inquire from their proprietaries, one of the proprietaries in the school, that what happened is the ministry not moving around to enforce this curriculum that CCA is now a compulsory subject in primary school, the woman told me that the ministry only move around to collect money, that they are not ready to, they are less concerned about the enforcement of anything. And that really saddened my heart. Hello? Hello?
We can hear you. We can hear you, sir. Go on. We can hear you, sir.
And that really saddened my heart. I said, in this country, when will the corruption problem end? Because if you are given an assignment to go and supervise and ensure that some things are in place, and you collect money, leaving the situation to remain the same, no improvement, nothing. That is a big problem to development. So on my own, I move around again to equally find out in some schools, those that are even handling some of the CCA and visual arts. And I discovered that in some schools, non-artists are even handling those subjects. So that is to let us know that it's as if they don't even see the importance of our organization, or they don't even recognize that we have professionals that can handle CCA and visual arts in schools. And when I look at the textbooks, that is the books that they are using in teaching some of those, the subjects, I discovered that the majority of those textbooks were written by hungry writers that has nothing to do with.
Hello, can Mr. Oladimeji? Hello, yeah. Can someone hear me?
Hello?
Okay. Ole, you are back. You are back. You can go ahead. Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir. We can hear you.
All right. Please, before I proceed on, Dr. Ido said that he has not been admitted. The admin should leave the chat. All right. So what I was saying was that I tried to move around some schools, and I discovered that CCA and visual arts are being handled by non-artists. You can imagine that, which I believe it is an aberration for unprofessional and somebody who has no knowledge of what the CCA and visual art is handling the subjects. These are some of the things ongoing in some of our private and even public, private schools. In public schools, the government refused to employ visual art artists, and at the same time, CCA teachers, and which we believe is the foundation of whatever that is going to happen much later. So how do we now tackle this problem? How do we tackle it? How do we solve the problem? Well, a lot of suggestions had already been made, which I believe that if only we can follow it and do it, we will get results. Then secondly, concerning this issue of colleges of education, training, manpower for primary schools. In some of our colleges of education, we only have fine and applied art departments, which are to handle professional aspects, that is producing professionals. And in concerning the primary school, CCA is the subject that, is the course that a teacher who is going to teach CCA must receive at the College of Education. But majority of our colleges of education are not running CCA departments. While I was the HOD in my school, I wrote a proposal to start CCA as a course in my school. I pursued the proposal to that level of management. It was approved at the academic board meeting, but for the past 2 years or 3 years now, they refuse to implement it. So these are some of the problems. It's not that we are not making move, but our effort are being scuttled by some elements. Maybe because we are not we don't have good representative at the upper echelon of our institutions. So these are some of the problems we are facing. But I want to believe that if there will be opportunity for others from other schools joining others to move around, I think they will listen to us better than you doing it all alone. So thank you so much. I think I will need to stop here.
Okay, I guess Mr. Solomon want to say something. Then we will have Dr. Professor Shegunlude. Let's just have comment of Mr. Solomon. Then we'll go over to Dr. Professor Shegunlude. Then we move to Dr. Ademola Assis. Solomon, you can go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
I thought. Okay. Good evening.
Yes, I really appreciate from being in this platform. I appreciate you, Dr. Imola Aziz and Prof. Shegun. My contribution to this is about our government working with us. I am a moral artist. I have the privilege to teach fine art in a private school and also in colleges in my area, basically, and as an rural area. But the problem now is 90% of the schools around are not touched by artists, because I discovered that most of the schools around are private schools, but 90% of those schools has known fine art teacher. Maybe because money or something. But I wrote some proposals out to some certain schools, and just only one was able to approve it. I take fine art in a school for just a little bit of money, because I know they don't have the money in the financial aspect, which is I know I should have more than the payment they are giving to me. So I just woke up a day to do some morals in a public school, a government school walls outside the streets, just to showcase some abuse morals, because these areas we have now in Nigeria, the things going on in Nigeria is very abusive based on the youth. Drugs abuse, sex abuse, everything. As a teacher, as an educator in fine art, I decided to do some morals, but the unfortunate aspect of it is that the approvement from the government was not done. I need to send some morals because I did medical art at Sickle Cell Foundation, Idiaraba, Lut, at Mr. Kunle Adewale's place. So I studied medical arts. I decided to write some proposals also to the medical schools, medical areas in my area, my place. Some of the hospitals, the government hospitals, the medical hospitals, they could not approve it. To do some morals, just some morals. They are not paying me. Let me do it. Let these kids feel the atmosphere of art. They could not approve it. So the challenge now is why the local government could not approve a proposal that could help the society in terms of painting and morals, in terms of teaching them through painting. Because I see passion teaching through morals. Because since ever I studied medical art at Mr. Kunle's place, one of our speakers today, before he went travel out, I really enjoy the fact that I was with the kids, communicating with them. And for me to now throw this proposal to the local government, they could not they are signed out the proposals. Because I've been trying to look for who to give, but all the also government appearances in my area could not even give me the audience to submit the proposal. So,
Solomon, well, I think your point is noted. The first thing I want to
the network is bad.
Hello? Yeah, let me
hello,
encourage.
Sir, before you respond to it, sorry, sir, before you respond to it, let's take Dr. Professor Segun Olude, then we just come back to you, sir, so that you can just be the one to. Okay, sir.
I think Idowuko has his hand up, and he's been up for a while.
Professor Segun Olude, you have the floor now, sir.
No, Idowuko has the floor.
Yes, I've already made my hand. Can I speak?
Okay.
Okay, I thought Professor Segun Olude wanted to say something. Hello, sir.
Yes. I was saying that I see that the name Idowuko has had his hand up for a while, so I wanted to mention that.
Okay, I didn't really see that. Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, Dr. Idowu, you can go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to speak a little on certain things, especially from what I heard from the lecture. Firstly, I want to talk about art educator. I tend to confuse art educator for art practice or art practitioner. They are two different things. Because art educators, they have the pedagogy and andragogy to teach art. And that is why we have a little problem in getting people to patronize art, even from the elementary school. Because those who are art educators, who have the skills to teach that art, and to teach from infancy what they know. I think we don't have them much. When they have those, maybe the advantage of their talent, they are in art school and then they are trained to produce that work. And then also, they are also tagged as art educator. We need to define it. We need to differentiate it so that we know where our problem is. It's not like when you ask somebody who is very vast in mathematics to teach mathematics, you realize that they run very fast because they have the knowledge. They are forgetting that those they are teaching, they are still learning. So all our learners need to be, we need to see those who are art educators. Mr. Alad mentioned earlier on that. He mentioned about 50 years. You see, when we talk about education, we are talking of the art that encompasses all the art. It includes visual, it includes performing, it includes music, it includes all segments of art. When these are introduced to these children as they remain school, we now realize that we have laid a background on which these children are going to bring something on. But when there is no background, when we just make them, or maybe we just allow them to go through a narrow one, if they don't have interest in that, we are losing them totally. That is why we need to put them to all these sectors, all these areas, so that the time they are exposed, we cannot kick off the silence in there. Oh, you can go to visual, you can go to this area, you can go to this area. And then we are also not doing enough. Don't go to visual art. We are not doing enough. If you look at our counterparts in the Society of Nigerian Theatre, if you look at what they are doing, you see that the way they conduct the association is better off. Maybe that's why they are having aid. Recently, one of them has just been appointed as the director DG for National Theatre. This was well, but our own that is next year has been removed. And somebody who does not even read that at all They now use to replace it. What is that SMA doing? Why are we not shouting? Can anybody tell me keep the one give minister for minister for health? It's not possible. These are some of the things that we need to fight. We need to talk about when we are talking. We need to create several forums in order for us to be able to discuss this thing. Invite you to do and talk to them. Let us shout. If what we are saying within ourselves cannot go anywhere, if we shout it among ourselves and dying among ourselves. So let us see how we can make connections. Let's make connections. Let's start ideas from others. How are they doing it? I like to make sure man in the state. Correct the right chairman.
I think we lost. Okay, I think he's back now.
No art teachers in school. So until teachers are installed, when the teachers are installed in school to teach art, who are we art educators? I think that's where we are going to have a foundation on which we are going to build on. I think I will stop here first and leave it to others.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, sir, for your comment. We can have Professor Shegunlide now. I think right now we have about 9 minutes before we close. So I'm just looking at how we can maximize that time before we close tonight. Thank you so much for your contribution, sir. Okay, so Professor Shegunlide, you can go ahead, sir.
Thank you so much. I think in the interest of time, I will hand over back to our speaker for tonight to shed light on some of the comments and round up for us. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. I think we have listened to some of the comments, and I think my response is that it boils down to some of the issues we have also spoken about, that as professionals in the field of art education and visual arts, we need to be more organized. Because just like Professor Olude also reiterated or corroborated, we can only fight these challenges as a collective. You know, it's a collective project. So that if we are able to also organize ourselves as a professional organization, all this, by the time all these complaints get to the organization, I'm sure that they can be perfectly tackled without tasking individuals to be running up and down to execute some of these things. So I think I want to encourage us that wherever we are located, we should also endeavor to join one professional association, specifically Society of Nigerian Artists and INSEA, that's Nigerian Society of Education Through Arts. If you don't have INSEA in your location, I'm sure there will be SNA in your location. So I'm sure by the time the complaint gets to any of these organizations, they will relate with the national body, which will handle the matter, and get the feedback will be also be reported back to the complainant. I think that's the approach we should, because these challenges have always been there. The issue of the curriculum, the issue of non-implementation of the curriculum approved either by academic board or by this thing. I'm sure that these are the challenges that the professional association can also handle as a collective, so that once they know that an organization is involved, implementing it will be very, very easier than individual making personal efforts. I think that's the advice I will also give. And whatever we can do to also support ourselves. I also noticed that some artists, I don't want to say most, don't like to be engaged in either in teaching or in other to be as now freebie, if I can use that word. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work because if you have the skill, if you are trained to be a teacher, so why not? Teaching does not affect your creativity. So it doesn't. It has to. They taught all their lives, and they never affected their productivity or creativity. And I started the of throughout his career, even as a lecturer, he never missed any year without exhibiting. So being an artist does not, and you are trained to also teach students, to impart knowledge, and that because the importance of that is that you engage in a paid job, and you are using the other as a part-time, you may use that small income to also meet other demands. So even if your work are not selling as expected, because you don't expect that the buyers or the patrons in the commercials will be buying your work all the time. Even if you exhibit, you may not get your works paid for on time. So, but if you are engaged in small work like teaching and other creative things that can also bring small income for you, that will stabilize you, until you are able to also get a bigger project that can give you bigger money. I think I want to encourage our young artists. Please, they should also be engaged. There are so many schools that are also looking for art teachers, and I'm sure that if you are able to get that list, I'm sure there are schools who are also looking for art teachers. And I discovered that most of our young graduates don't like to be stationed in any particular school. Understand? They want to be freelancing. They don't want to be. So that's part of the problem. So if you don't have enough that can even go around all these schools, you don't have enough hands that can go around all these schools. And and instead you see that one as a challenge, and that if you're able to also open up this so that anybody that is looking for a job is able to relate with INSEA or SNA and see whether we get him a job or not. So I just want to also add that as we are also pursuing some of these challenges to make sure that they are implemented, our colleagues, the art teachers, the art graduates should also be ready to also engage in paid job, especially in teaching in some of these schools. I think that's my final comment on that. So I don't know whether I've left any response unattended to. All the other contributions are comments, which are also very germane to the discourse. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much, sir. I can see Professor Olude clapping already for you. So I will join him to clap also. I want to say thank you so much, sir. This is a wonderful, we have another wonderful night tonight. And the wonderful one. Thank you. Great job, sir. We really appreciate it.
Please let me collect Professor Olude's email address, please.
I will send that to you. I will send that to you immediately. And I will also send your number to him as well. So that is one of the purpose of Art Educators Hangout for us to connect, sir. And again, sir, I'm too little to give you an assignment, sir. But I would like to say this, sir. So as we are leaving now, that INSEA, we are waiting for the meeting of INSEA, physical meeting in earnest.
You are the one holding it, too. You are the one.
I'm not, sir. So we are waiting for that. We are waiting for the announcement for you, sir. You have to create time. I know you are busy.
Just come to my office. We'll put that one. We can organize it within, and I'm ready to host it. I've told you that.
Yes, sir. But I know that you are very busy. Moving and all that.
No, I will create time for my personal association, please.
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. That is a beautiful one to hear, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I know you are always ready for us, and God bless you for us too. And God will uphold you in your what's it called, position at the Federal College of Education, Technical Akoka. So God bless you, sir, for joining us tonight and for imparting us tonight. God bless you. And we are looking forward to that meeting. And I want to say thank you to everybody that have been part of this meeting tonight. Thank you so much. It's already 10 o'clock. I think we need to go to bed now. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you,
Bye
sir.
for now.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
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 Thank you.
Bye. Bye, sir.
We can leave the meeting now. We can just press the meeting, what's it called? The end meeting, then we can leave. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Muyiwa Fulani. Thank you so much for joining us. Mrs. Abosede, thank you so much for joining us. Who's yes? Okay, Miss Onosoya Olayemi, thank you so much for joining us. Peter Ogadlado, thank you so much for joining us. Solomon, Mr. Solomon, thank you so much for joining us. For Dr. Idowu, thank you so much for joining us. Mr. Musliu Agbola, thank you so much for joining us. We can press the end meeting now and leave. Thank you so much. Let's do this again next week. Thank you so much. God bless you. We can leave now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Just want to know the coordinator. Hello?
Hello, Olusegun Adeni is my name, sir.
Okay. You're welcome, sir.
Olusegun Adeni. Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you
Guys,
so much for joining us. So we see you. Okay. Okay. Most of the flyer that we leave, you can just send a mail. Then I will forward you my number, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. You're welcome, sir.
Kudos.
You too, sir. Bye, sir. Okay, sir.